Hi, welcome back to another episode of True Story Podcast. I have a little sad news. As you can see, I am filming alone today. So, I think you could kind of see there was a breaking point boiling up in our last video with Caitlin. She kind of shared a little bit of everything that's going on in her life, and she has some other things that she needs to prioritize. So she's going to take about a month off and then return back to us. She's not leaving the show. She's going to be back, but she's going to take a break to figure some things out. So I thought this would be a perfect time to do a little getting to know Lacey saga. I want to talk about my family growing up, how I have about 6 parents, 3 moms, 3 dads, and what that was like growing up. I want to talk about my last year going through 3 major surgeries, and I also want to get into a little bit about life after major weight loss, because I have lost almost 140 pounds. I'm almost to my goal weight. 20 pounds away from my goal weight, but so yeah. This episode I really want to talk about my last year with my 3 major surgeries. This was probably the second hardest year of my life. Just because everything was so up in the air, my heart was being pulled because of COVID, things would get canceled, scheduled. But I am at the end of it, and I survived, and I am thankful, and I'm excited for my new life and the future ahead of me for me and my family. So let's dive in a little bit. I will start by saying the 3 surgeries I have had. I had a gastric sleeve, which is a weight loss surgery. I had 2 hip replacements. So my first surgery this year was the gastric sleeve. I had that May 7th, so I'm almost 9 months out, and I've lost about 100 pounds, and I've lost the other 60 on my own before surgery. My heaviest weight was 270 pounds. I'm currently 140 pounds, so don't knock me if my mouth is off. But yeah, so it's been a really long journey. And what pushed me to have the weight loss surgery and not lose it on my own is because of my hips. So I suffer from a disease called Perthes bone disease, and it attacks the femoral head of your hips. So your hip bone is supposed to be like a circle. Throwing out the bean now. It's supposed to be like a circle, and my hip bones were like a triangle. If you follow our Instagram, I will post pictures of my x-rays, and I will post before and after pictures of my weight loss, so you can see how drastic and how far I've come. I'm gonna upload, there's a video of me walking, and I'm walking like my legs are so stiff. It was so bad. It was so painful. So this is a bone disease that only 1% of people have. 1%. And I got that lucky 1%er. So yeah. So the earliest memory of me that I can have having pain from walking is about 3 years old. You know, my mom always tried to put me in sports when we were younger. I've done every sport. I've played basketball, baseball, swim team, ice skating, dance, soccer. And I think I remember telling my mom, like, when did you realize like there was something wrong with my hips? Because she also had to have a hip replacement in her 30s. So I'm 21, and I had to get it a little bit earlier because my pain was so bad. That's why I don't understand why my mom wasn't on top of it the way she should have been. Because by the time I was diagnosed, I was 19, already out of the house, because the pain was just so bad. So growing up, 16 was about when I started really complaining, because I was, just starting to work. I was almost graduating high school. I was trying to, become a productive adult. And you can't do that when you live with chronic pain. And especially when you have hip dysplasia and arthritis, it's painful. You can't move. Your bones tense up. I would describe it as like cramps, Charlie horse, and like I don't even know how to it's just indescribable pain, times like 3,000, like cramps, like, and it's constant. It does not go away. It's 24/7 chronic pain. And I think that helped me though, because I know how to like multitask now because of it, and like center my emotions and separate them, because I'm a preschool teacher, so I work with students. I always have to have a smile on my face. So I'd be in constant pain, having a conversation with parents, having conversations with my coworkers, doing arts and crafts with my students. Like, I couldn't show that I was in pain, you know? I mean, you could see me limping, you knew something was wrong, but I wasn't gonna let it show on my face, you know? If anyone knows, I always have like a smile on my face, and then they hear a little bit of my life and they're like, how do you smile like that? And it's because I'm thankful, because I know no matter what life was thrown at me, I have gotten over and I've survived. I'm proud of myself. But I'm getting a little off topic. So that's a little bit of background for my hips. So at 16, it got really bad because I was starting to gain weight because my hips were so bad. I wasn't moving. I was in a bad home situation where I couldn't really eat the best. And I just started packing on the weight, and that does not help when your hips are already messed up and not where they're supposed to be. So I couldn't walk, really. I really couldn't walk. And if I did, at the end of the day, I was crying in the tub, just praying for the pain to go away. And that's when I went to the doctors, and they did x-rays finally, because the whole time they were telling me, oh, you just need to lose weight. There's nothing wrong with you. You just need to lose weight. And I'm like, there's people heavier than me. Like, I was heavy. I was 270 pounds, 5 foot. That is very heavy. That is very, very heavy for someone 5 foot. So I see their point, but for them not to even x-ray me is kind of ridiculous. So they finally did my x-rays, because I'm begging them at this point. And this is Kaiser. Like, Kaiser shit is usually on top of their stuff. So they did the x-rays, saw that my bones were fucked off. The cartilage, bone on bone, horrible, really bad. I'm getting mad. But they told me, yeah, you're gonna need a hip replacement. You're gonna need one. And at this time I was 16. They're like, well, we could probably put it off till you're 18, or just lose some weight and the pain will get better. Just lose some weight. They kept playing like the lose the weight card and everything will be better. Which now that I've lost weight, I'm glad that I lost the weight. But when I did lose the weight, my limp and the pain got worse. My walking got worse. Everything got worse after I lost weight. But now I'm jumping ahead of myself. So, 16, fast forward to 18, my doctor recommends me getting a bariatric surgery because I just haven't lost the weight. I kept going in to get cortisone injections, which is an anti-inflammatory drug that they put between the joints, and that's what they were giving me for my hip pain. And those were painful in of itself. They were traumatizing. They were worst pain of my life. Imagine like someone injecting fluid in between your bones. That's what it is. And it did work for the pain. And I did that for 6 years. 6 years, because it wasn't until I was 22 till I actually had my surgery. So, so 18, I go through the program for gastric sleeve surgery. They make you take 3 classes so you can learn what kind of vitamins you have to take, how to eat your food, how to weigh it. You have to lose, they made me lose about 50 pounds before they would do surgery because they want to make sure you're committed to the weight loss journey. So I did that. I lost the weight. I didn't lose it until I moved out of my mom's though. At 19, I got my own apartment, and then I ended up going to the doctors for some other reason because I kind of gave up a little bit, because the 50 pounds is a lot after being overweight and in pain, and it's like, that's not gonna happen. But once I got out of that home environment, if you watch my other videos, I talk a little bit more about my home environment. I dropped 40 pounds like that after I moved out, because I was able to cook, I was moving around, I was not depressed and in an abusive household. And I dropped 40 pounds, and then I dropped the rest, and I think I lost a total of 60 pounds, and they only wanted me to lose 240 because for my hip replacements, they wanted me to get down to 180. So I was 270 pounds. They wanted me to get down to 180 pounds before they would even do my hip replacements. So that's what pushed me to do the gastric sleeve, because it is a lot of work. So the gastric sleeve, a little bit of background if you don't know what it is. So let's say a normal stomach is like the size, a stretched out stomach, not a normal stomach. Someone who's overweight, their stomach's probably about a football or like pretty big. They cut your stomach to the size of like an egg. I had the sleeve, so they cut it like a banana. There's a sleeve and there's a bypass. So the sleeve, they cut it like a little banana. It fits between 2 to 3 ounces of food. 2 to 3 ounces of food is not that much food, but it fills me up. It fills me up. I feel stuffed. I cannot like overeat anymore. I cannot do none of that. I also have to take a bunch of multivitamins. I have to do all that. So I had the surgery. I started losing the weight, and then something happens. I start getting a cough, like 3 months out of surgery. I'm coughing. I'm like, am I sick? What's wrong? Like, I don't feel. And then one day I cough up blood. I started coughing blood. And I've had so many health issues starting from like a young age that I'm so paranoid about every little thing. So I call 911 and they're like, yeah, you need to get to the emergency room right now. I did have a doctor's appointment, a phone appointment, because this was like during COVID. This was just I had May, June, July, November, December. It was probably around January time because I had my surgery in November. The doctor said, oh, go in. It's probably nothing serious, but just to be safe, because you did just have surgery, it could be a pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot and I don't know if you know anything about blood clots, but they start in your leg, they work their way up, they break off, they can go to your lung, and then if they go out of your lung, they'll go straight to your brain, and you'll die. You die instantly. There's nothing you can do. So I went to the emergency room. They did all these blood tests, and they did this CT scan, and I had a blood clot in my lung. They told me that my lung was starting to die. A little piece of it was starting to die. And I just started bawling. Because I was so scared. And I was like, I know people die from that. I have people in my family that die from that. So that was just very, very scary. And I was starting to lose the weight. I was getting on track to get my hip replacements. So so after this happened, they put me on blood thinners. And when you're on blood thinners, I had to be on blood thinners 3 months. Because November, December, January, February, March. So I have it in January. My hip replacement was scheduled for March. I go to my consultation with my surgeon, and she's like, why are you on Coumadin? Why are you on blood thinners? I was like, oh, I had a blood clot in my lung. And she's like, oh, no, you cannot have surgery until you're off those blood thinners. So I start bawling again. I start crying because I was so excited. Because I've been in pain so long. My whole life I've been in pain. And I was just so excited to get it over with. So that put my surgery off for another 3 months. My surgeon was really nice. She was like, once you're off those, I will get you on as soon as possible. Like, you won't have to wait. Because, COVID was postponing everything. She's like, no, I'll make sure I have a spot for you. I don't care. You're going to be seen. So fast forward, after doing all the blood thinners, all that, being depressed, waiting for my surgery date, finally that day comes where I'm off my blood thinners. I'm ready to jump on the horse. I'm down. I think I was about 150 for my hip replacements. So I lost a lot of weight by then. Yeah. And so I had my first hip replacement. And they put me in I went to the hospital. I went alone because COVID, no visitors, no nothing. I'm laying in bed. The staff was really nice to me. The nurse was really nice to me. He was talking to me. They did an epidural type of anesthesia instead of the one in the mouth. So they had to put it in my back, which I was scared of, but it was actually not that bad. And then I went and rolled me into the surgery room, and I remember the last time they were holding all these tools, because like they make a big incision in your leg and they have to like, if you look up a video of a hip replacement, it is very bloody, it is very gruesome, it looks like some medieval times torturing devices up, like it's not a fun, pretty surgery. But my scars turned out pretty. She did a really good job on my scars. But so I just remember them talking about the tools, and then I passed out. And I remember waking up in my hospital bed, and they got me on fluids maybe about an hour because they want all the numbing stuff to wear off. The physical therapist came because they were trying to send me home the same day. Isn't that crazy? Send me home the same day after a hip replacement. And I had the posterior approach, which is the harder one. I had all these restrictions. I couldn't bend at a 90-degree angle for the first 2 months. So yeah, I'll get into that in a second. So they try to stand me up and I faint. I fall in bed. They grab me and they put me in bed, and I'm like, whoa, what just happened? Sean was there, thankfully, and I looked at him and he just like scared, like he just saw me go all white and like faint. I couldn't imagine how his heart probably dropped. So they're like, oh, your blood pressure is so low, it's really low, like we need to get more fluids in you, you're not ready yet to get out of bed. Because I think just with my body, they thought I'm younger, so they maybe thought I would do better. But I think just going through gastric sleeve surgery, I have to be on vitamins, so I'm sure something with that, with my iron, and also losing so much blood after the hip replacement probably had to do with my low blood sugar, my blood pressure, because my blood pressure is usually low anyway. So they tried coming in another 3 hours later after they gave me some food and got more fluids in me, and it happened again. So I had to stay overnight in the hospital. I stayed 3 nights for my first hip. I stayed 3 nights, and it was okay. I was drugged up most of the time. When I came home, that's when it got harder. I had the commode, the bedside commode. I couldn't use the bathroom. I couldn't take a shower on my own. I couldn't wipe my butt on my own. Like, I needed help with every little thing. I couldn't make my meals. And here I am, barely into a weight loss journey. Now I'm like bedridden. I've been meal prepping. I've been doing all my workouts, doing my fluids, and now I'm like stuck in bed. So yeah, that was really hard. And then 6 weeks later, I had my second hip. I had it right away. They were trying to tell me it won't happen until April of next year. I was like, there is no way I'm waiting that long, because I had one good hip now and one bad hip. So I'm like crooked. I was like walking still with the limp. I'm like crooked. And I was like, no. I emailed my surgeon. I was like, please, look, like, I'm 21 years old. I do not have a retirement. I do not have a big enough savings to keep me afloat while I wait for these surgeries. Like, I'm supposed to be starting my life, not waiting for these surgeries. Like, most people that have hip replacements are in their 40s to 80s, like not 21. But I have noticed, now that I'm on Instagram and I've been talking about my story, a lot more people my age I've been finding that do have total joint replacements, and it has made me feel not as alone. So that's what made me want to sit down and go over a little bit about my experience, because I know before my surgery I was looking up like 20 years old and hip replacement, and nothing popped up. Nothing would pop up but like doctors and surgeons and like older people talking, and it's like kind of monotone, and it's like, no, this is not what I'm trying to watch. So fast forward 6 weeks, I go to get my next hip replacement. I kind of know what's the gist. My same nurse was there. The team was so nice. And they like rolled me in. They rolled me in. I went down, woke up, brand new hips, brand new women. No, they got me up for my physical therapy came again, and I got up. I was way better. My blood pressure was still low. So I don't think I walked right away. I think they waited maybe a little bit longer after I ate. And then I went up and down the stairs, because you have to do the stairs before you're able to go home. Which is crazy, huh? Like, you have these big cuts in your leg and they just tore out, they saw off your bone. Like they saw your bone off, put a new one in and stitch you back up. And they want you going up and down these stairs. Like they just cut through all your muscles, all your nerves, everything. Like one of my scars is still like numb, and I'm already 2 months out. It's still numb where they cut me. It's just like, it's a miracle surgery, and I'm out of pain. I have no pain. And now that I'm feeling better, I've been walking around downtown, going out, going on little walks. Like I walked to Dutch Bros the other day because it's like not that far from my house, but it's a nice little walk. And I didn't have to take any breaks. I didn't have to sit down. I was in no pain at all. And like, it makes me want to cry because just with that chronic pain, every step I thought about, every step. If I wanted to go walk somewhere, go out to dinner, and then walk around downtown, I couldn't. They'd have to drop me off in front of the restaurant. Or if we walked, I had to sit down somewhere and take a break. Like if I wanted to go on a hike, I would have to pick like hikes that have benches along the trail, because I had to sit down and take a break because the pain was just so bad. And it's like, I'm an adventurous person. I love the nature. I love running around. I love doing all those things, but my pain was stopping me. And I'm so thankful that I was able to lose the weight. I was able to have the surgeries, and I'm just ready to attack life. But the recovery period was not perfect. It was very depressing. The first 6 weeks are the major weeks that you could dislocate the hip, because really there's nothing really holding it there, because the muscles are so weak and all sore and cut into that you can't bend, you can't jerk, you can't do all these things you're used to. So that's why I needed help going to the restroom. I needed help getting clothes on. I needed help putting my shoes on. I still need help putting my shoes on because I'm only 2 months out of surgery, so I'm still working it up, and I'm doing my workouts. I'm trying to strengthen every day. But if you have to get like a hip replacement, or you're dealing with chronic pain, just do it. Just take that leap of faith and just have the surgery. It's life-changing. And Facebook also has a lot of support groups online where you can post your stories. They have a hip replacement for active people. It's a little younger group. And people post like their hikes, and it's just very, very supportive and a very good community, and it just makes you feel like you're not alone. So like I said, on Instagram, I'll post some of my before and afters. I'll post some of the my walks and how I walk straight. Like I had to learn my gait. Your gait is how you walk. Like I was walking like this, and now I walk normal. Like it's just amazing. It just blows my mind, and it makes me so sad to watch those videos, because like I can't believe I was in pain for so long, and I lived with that pain. I'm surprised I didn't go crazy. It was very, very hard on my mental, and I'm very thankful that I had the mindset to overcome that pain. And I'm glad that I had a great support system. But really, it was just me and Sean. Sean took care of me the whole time. My mom wasn't around. No one really was around. I was alone a lot, and it was very depressing. I had a few old friends reach out online and kind of text me throughout the day, which was really nice, because it was hard to sleep at night. It's still kind of hard. I still have to use pillows. It's still a journey. I'm still on it. But I am thankful I didn't gain a single pound. And now that I'm moving around, I'm losing weight. I've already lost 5 more pounds. And I'm just trying to tone and not be so flabby. Because after losing weight, I have a lot of loose skin. I'm going to have to probably get a tummy tuck and get some skin removal, which is normal. I'd rather have some loose skin, little stretch marks here and there, than be overweight. And looking back to how far I've come, I would not want to start over. I want to keep going forward. So yeah, that's a little bit of my last year. I maybe just left out a little bit, but yeah, like the depression, like I made sure I had a sticker book, I had a coloring book, I listened to my music because you can only watch TV for so long. I'm so burnt out of TV and television because I never really watched TV like that. And like, that's all you can do when you're in bed and in pain. Because everyone's like, oh, you should sign up for school. You should do this. I'm like, my mind is not there right now. Like, I'm just trying to heal. I'm trying to heal. I don't want to have to worry about school right now. But yeah, so that's my last year. It was not fun. I know online I post all my pictures and it looks easy, but it's not easy. It's been very hard. And to go a little more into my diet, I don't eat anything with more than 8 grams of sugar. I eat very high protein veggies. That's all I really eat. I don't eat any carbs. I don't eat any sweets. I eat everything sugar-free, but not like the cheap sugar-free stuff, like the real like Lily's chocolate and all that stuff is really good. It doesn't have a lot of chemicals, because a lot of sugar-free stuff does have like added chemicals that doesn't need it. Yeah, maybe I'll start posting some of my cooking things if you're interested. I'm sorry. I hope this was an okay video. I don't think I'm gonna go into make it that long. It was more informative about my surgeries and everything, and it was a little hard being alone today. I miss my cousin, but I know this is gonna be best for her. It was so hard. I was trying to plug in everything, and usually she's the one that adjusts the cameras, and I'll be like, yeah, it's good. So bear with me while I adjust to being alone. I hope you guys still subscribe, still watch. This might not have been the most exciting episode, but I hope some of you got a little bit of my background. Yeah. You know, another thing I want to talk about is me on a walker. So you see me, and usually I'm like dressed up. I dress cute because like being home, I had to dress nice or else I was going to be very depressed. Because if I'm just in a t-shirt at home, stuck in bed. So I made sure I had my cute little dresses, my cute little whatevers. And then when I started being able to walk on the walker, everyone's like staring like, why are you on a walker? Like, you're so young. It's so crazy like how people with disabilities get kind of shushed. And it's like, you're supposed to fit into a box. And I broke that box open because I look like the last person who struggled with a disability. And then people like, recently I just got off my cane, so I went to Old Folsom for the first time, and I used my cane because I wasn't 100% ready to get off of it. And all these people were like staring at me like, why do you have a cane? I was like, mind your business. No, but it's just kind of funny the way our society is so programmed to like, if you're disabled, you're supposed to be like in a handicap, like a vegetable. You can't be like a normal person with a normal mindset that you just, you know, just some of your parts got messed up. But yeah, so bear with me. Next video, I think I'm going to go a little bit more in about my 6 parents. I have 3 moms and 3 dads. And I want to talk about how they raised me into the person I am today. Might not have been the perfect family, but it is a family. I'm here. I'm still alive. I'm pretty successful right now, despite all the things thrown at me, despite all my health, despite the abuse, despite drugs, despite everything. I have a beautiful home. I have a beautiful family. And now I'm ready to take on the world and start buying some property, start being a landlord like I want to, and you know, just make money and be more successful. So I think that's a little bit. You can keep watch me grow, watch our story grow. I think if I talk Kate into it, she might do a little videos on our Instagram, maybe just say hi here and there, because I know we all will all miss her. So please subscribe, like, comment, share. Bye.